For people, it's Nate Jackson. This is Super Funny Comedy Club, and this is Everything I Just Said's podcast. I am blessed, happy, touched. I'm just enamored, elated by what we're doing now. I don't like a whole bunch of stuff before we find out why I'm happy. I just be saying it. Alonzo Bodden's here.
Thank you. Thank you. And you have not been touched, and let's be real clear about that.
No, I was touched.
Because in today's environment, you saying you was touched. I don't have the money for that lawsuit.
You know, the court just threw out Wade's case. So a lot less people have been touched than we thought. Michael Jackson didn't do it. How about that? So I want to just get into this. It is May now, May 1st. And so I imagine the next time I see you, June 13th will have passed. So I'm going to go ahead and issue me the first and earliest happy birthday.
Wow. Okay.
I'm getting it in there.
Thank you. I'll take that. I appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
And so I've done a ton of research and followed you myself in my own 15-year career, and love what you do. I love that you have set your own path and didn't go the ways they told you to go.
Yeah. People have always asked, like, what's my career path been? And I've always said it's the next indicated thing, right? So it was the next thing in front of me. But it was, I started in the early 90s, right? I started in the Def Jam era. Yep. But I wasn't a Def Jam guy. Right. And obviously no disrespect to that, because that was huge. And there was some great comics coming out of it. But it wasn't something I could walk in and pretend to do. You know what I mean?
Like, be authentic.
Right. So I came from a more mainstream, I tell everybody, like, look, I grew up in a black neighborhood and I went to white schools. So I never learned to hate white people properly.
Hilarious.
So, but no, it was always, I've always been in that, I don't know how to put it, in that mix, in that middle ground, being aware of both sensibilities. Yeah, I'll put it that way. And my comedy comes from that. And then I've always been a news junkie. So that happened during Last Comic, where I just started having more fun doing topical observations than talking about my life.
Right.
So that's how that came about.
Cool. So I just saw it's what I want to say, and the questions I want to ask are loaded up. So I'm having to break it down. And you're already,
no, man, fire away.
Unbeknownst to you, you're already saying things that I'm like, ooh, trinket. Okay, so before we started the show, I just want to say this for the listeners who are not watching it. Before we started the show, in the Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club studio, we have a box on the table. And some people don't care what it is. Other people are curious spirits. Alonzo picked it up and said, what in the hell is up in this box? Has that always been you, or has that curiosity grown in you?
As a kid, my first career, I was an airplane mechanic.
Right? Oh, no. You were a jet mechanic at Lockheed Martin, and you worked in Long Beach.
Right. And I've done a bunch of stuff there. And people say, where does it come from? When I was a kid, I always wanted to see how things work. So I took them apart from like my first bicycle, like, okay, like, I got to take this apart. I got to see how it works. So yeah, there's always been a natural curiosity, So I'll tell you what my thought was when I saw this, right? And you people on camera can see this box. It's a beautiful box. I said, oh, is this a chess set? Has he been watching the Queen's Gambit? Like, did he jump into this chess thing? Because that's what it looks like.
Yes, I watched Queen's Gambit, but that is just where we hide stuff
cables
that we need.
And tech stuff. But this could be a chess set in this box, and
a serious one.
Yeah,
if that had chess pieces in it, that would have been like
this is one of those chess sets where you don't play the person who owns it. You know what I mean? He like, no, they play chess. This ain't nothing there.
You play yourself on that kind of thing. No one plays against me. I beat myself. So you have the curious thing. Also, I've always, so my So, what I'm saying is that you need to think that the community mind who are great.
Oh, yeah. and we comment on it, and then people laugh because they realize, like, oh yeah, that's right, people do that, or you know what I mean, like, so I think comics have a natural curiosity, and also another thing that helps with comedy is a natural dissatisfaction.
Hilarious.
Right?
And
like
general disdain for everything.
Disdain, like we could do better.
Yes.
Like, what the hell's wrong with this?
Right.
Why is this stupid thing? You know, and it's funny because people think comics are down on everything, right? But we're not down on it. We just know we could do better.
That part.
So you're like, we're pointing this out because we know we could do better. You know, or when I say we, I mean like society or the boss at work or whatever. You know, that's why you point it out, because you're like, man, what are you dumb?
Right.
And then when we say it, then other people are like, oh, hey, you're right. You know,
you're right. And there is a better way to do it.
Yeah.
And we thought of it because we love taking things apart and putting it back together, or at least the concept of being able to. Now, you mentioned in a viral clip that just went nuts in 2020, where you talk about how difficult it is to be a comedian right now. You mentioned, and you also mentioned now, keeping up on the news.
Yeah.
But what jumped out at me in the thing was you said, I was reading this story. Now, most people, if we watch the news and keep up on stuff, literally we're watching the news. So how much of your process is reading the news, like the newspaper?
I so rarely watch news.
Really?
I read news all the time. I mean, I grew up like, we had two newspapers growing up. We got in the morning, the Daily News came, and then in the afternoon, they had a paper called the Long Island Press. So we got two newspapers a day, and I grew up in the habit of reading those. And what happens with staying on top of the news, you know, TV is the highlights, right? But when you read it, you get to read the whole story.
That's true. You do get some more.
You get the whole, you know, it's not the 3 minutes you saw on the nightly news. There's more to the story. So I've always been in the habit of reading it. Also, reading it, you can kind of get past the bias, right? Because there's always a, you know, Fox News is, you know, ridiculously biased.
To the right.
And MSNBC is somewhat biased. But I would say, like, if Fox News is 90% right, MSNBC is 30% left.
I'll give you that.
And
then we expect CNN to be right down the middle.
I hate the false equivalency because it's not. Yeah, and we expect CNN to be down the middle, but the problem with CNN and the problem with news in general, right, it's become infotainment. You know, they're going for ratings. They have good-looking anchors who read stuff. But when you start reading the news, and I have a lot of news feeds that I read, you just learn more about it. You get more points of view. Mm-hmm. You know, read the BBC, read the British. They do news.
Do they?
They do. And not only do they do news, they look at us. They look at America, and they're like, well, what about this, this, and this? So it almost gives you an outsider's view of our country. You know, like, for example, with the whole Black Lives Matter racism movement, it's nice to see other countries watching us.
Yes, and protesting with us.
Yes,
and understanding
because
the plight.
they're like, you know, no, America, your hands are not clean.
Right.
You can no longer pull the, you know, what about your human rights? And they're like, what about your human rights? Like, you still killing black people.
How about it? Right. You over here worried about what we do, and you got black people still since slavery held down.
Right, right. So
systemically.
I like reading news. I like having a general idea what's going on. It's also just interesting sometimes. Some stories are just interesting, you know. Right.
So we open up the news to the international perspective. Where in the world have you had the most fun on stage?
Wow, that's such a tough question. Internationally, my favorite place.
Well, hold on. First, let's give them context, because you've done extensive USO touring.
I've done comedy everywhere in the world. They speak English. And through the USO and the military, I've gone a lot of places they don't speak English. Actually, I've done comedy everywhere in the world except South America. That's the only place I haven't been, because we don't have military there officially. And
you gotta go home. You're black and Honduran. Go home and do a show.
No, I have done shows. I have done shows in Honduras, because we do have military base there. But I'm talking about, you know, Brazil and Argentina and places, you know.
I'd like to go to Brazil, but I don't know my jokes I want to tell.
Exactly. I go to Brazil. Everyone says once you go to Rio, that's just Rio is Rio. You know,
a place is cracking when they just say it is what it is.
Yeah. So my favorite international place is Montreal, Just for Laughs Festival. That is my favorite. That is the world. I don't know if it's still the world's biggest comedy festival, but it's where everybody comes together. It's like summer camp for comics.
And so I've explained JFL a couple different ways on different shows. So essentially, I think JFL is a phenomenal experience on festival and off festival.
Yeah.
But I also think it's the crux of the matter in regards to the problems with the industry right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, and the only reason I say this, JFL is such an extensive and phenomenal comedy experience to be exposed to comics from all over the world that it makes people who should be looking for new talent and all that just wait for JFL.
Yeah.
And that's not conducive because it's once a year.
Right. And this is what I tell. Well, see, I have my personal experience with JFL.
Right.
Is huge and phenomenal.
Yes.
So I'm always going to be a fan, right? I got discovered at JFL at New Faces.
Nice.
And that was back when you could make a deal at the festival, which I did. I got a deal.
At the festival?
Well, pretty much.
At the open bar?
Pretty much. That's how it went. I did New Faces, and they come rushing you after the show. You know, I'm with NBC. I'm with this studio. I'm this. And they start giving you business cards, right? And you're like, I don't know who any of you are. Like, I knew enough to not say anything. You know what I mean?
Just wait, and we'll figure it out later.
Just give those cards to my manager and let him do the talking. And then we had some meetings, and I ended up signing with William Morris.
Nice.
And they started having this was the funniest thing, Nate. Once I did New Faces, I couldn't go anywhere in Montreal without a William Morris agent being there.
Period.
They were like, "You need something from the bar?
Yeah.
Can I get some lunch?"
They're on you there.
Like it was really funny. Like it's like a woman having not just a stalker, a team of stalkers, right? Because that's what they're doing.
And even when you think you're alone,
they're
you pull out a cigarette, they're like, "Need a light?" Like, whoa, where the fuck did you just come from? William Morris and Denver.
They're recruiting, but it was fun, and it was a learning experience, right? So we came back, made a deal, and the great thing about it was the money allowed me to quit my day job and start my comedy career. And
Wonderful.
Then I went back to JFL 2 years later to do a gala, and then they just started. The galas are the big comedy shows,
right? But it's usually a person's gala, like Tiffany Haddish gala.
No. I wasn't that famous. I was there to perform on a gala.
Gotcha.
But even so, doing a gala is a big deal because it's a big televised thing in Canada. And then I don't know how many times I've been there. Like, they just start bringing me back, and now I'm so much a part of the furniture, right? I'm just so used to being there that when Kenya Barris came, this was funny to me. So Kenya Barris was getting an award, and I happened to be hosting.
2 years ago.
Yeah. I think 3 years ago. I think this was 3 years ago, his first time there.
Okay.
So I was hosting the JFL Awards. But anyway, he looked for me.
Okay.
And he said, "Alonzo." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, man, they told me when I get to Montreal to check with you. They said, you the mayor. You know what's happening. So what is up?" And he asked me where this was and that was. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you had this experience where someone asks you some shit and you know it. Like, you don't even realize you know it. Right there, but you're like, this is. And then I was like, oh, shit, I guess I do know, you know. But that was really cool. Then I asked him, you know, why ain't I on one of his shows? And I haven't seen him since.
Oddly enough, our paths crossed kind of in the same scenario. So I was at the open bar party.
Yeah.
When Kenya got whatever deal he got.
Right.
So he comes in and he's chilling, you know what I'm saying? Big
Netflix
dumbass
deal.
Chain on, chilling. Right. Netflix deal on the spot in the party.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you something happened, I walked around the party once and came back and he was damn near breakdancing. And I'm like, Mr. Barris. And I catch up with him and he's like, I just need your email. That's all I need, and I'll reach out that way. And he was like, fuck white people. Fuck Whitey at gmail.com. I was like, what? like that was legit. And I'm like, I wonder is that real? And somebody else verified, like, no, it really is Fuck Whitey. And he got to do like, so you're telling me you got to deal as a black man with Netflix with stuff going back and forth over email. And they have to type in fuck Whitey at gmail.com to cut the deal. Kenny is really popped from there. And my experience at JFL, I'll just share this, is that, so I have not done On Festival yet. Would love to. I've showcased a couple times. I have another one coming up on at Dynasty Typewriter on Monday the 17th. And I'm hoping this is the one because I've been going straight to callbacks for the last couple of years, and I'm hoping this is the one I can get a new face. But what I did do was Kevin Hart had his own.
Right, Kevin Hart did the LOL.
Yeah. And so Pookie hit me and was like, "What you doing next week?" I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? You got a passport? Yep, let's go. So I go up, I do JFL, Montreal. I was hip pocketed at that time by 3 Arts. Hip pocket. And so, but the guy I worked with at 3 Arts was an assistant. He was just trying to get the managers to see me. Yeah. Everyone's so busy. Oh, Montreal's coming up. Oh, we'll see him when we get back. Oh, we got to run Kevin's thing. We don't have. So he's like, look, I'll just have everybody at that showcase. Like, that'll be when I can get as many of them there. Half of them are there anyway because there are other talent is there. And so I go in and I knock it out. Now, I'm upstairs chilling in the mezzanine with Tamara Goins and Innovative. Right before, 2 acts before I'm supposed to go on, I go downstairs and get my jacket, and then I go out and I do my thing. And then I come back, and Tamara's like, what did you just do? And I'm like, well, I had fun on stage. And she's like, no. After you left, Becky comes in, stands for your set, and then when you start your closer and it's killing, he walks out. Everybody in here wants to know who's the kid Dave Becky just came to see. Yeah. And then I had the experience you had without even being on festival. And then immediately it was like, oh, you're not hip pocketed no more. And so JFL is magical in that regard.
For some.
Because people come with the checkbook open, ready to do opportunity.
People, it's the draft, right? We're in the middle of the NFL draft. That's like
I felt like slave trade, but I feel
comics draft. But that's how it works. And I tell everyone the thing about getting to a festival, any of the big festivals, the great thing is everyone sees you there. Rather than trying to showcase at 20 clubs or 10 different network showcases or whatever, everyone sees you all in one place. So that's the great part. Now, it is not like it used to be. They don't make the deals up there that they used to, but because it's grown so much. Like when I did New Faces, remember, I'm old, man. There was no internet. So they didn't know who we were.
At all. You were a new face.
A few places knew, but what JFL would do was they brought us up, like the festival started Monday. Okay. They brought us up Wednesday. We stayed in a different hotel than everybody else. This is back when it was at the Delta. We were in some little hotel, and they would do the show. And you would come out, and a lot of people didn't know. They literally didn't know who you were. You were the new faces. And so the good thing about that was all the industry would come because they all wanted to see who's the new faces.
You had to.
What's happened now, because of internet and social media and every other form of publicity, people know who it is, and they have different new faces. They have unsigned new faces. Yes. They have, some people on New Faces, their careers are already bigger than mine. I'm like, the hell you doing on New Faces, And then you have New Faces of Sketch, which is a different type of comedy. So like everything else, it's grown. It's gotten bigger. They partnered with more TV and do more TV. It used to be like when I first did JFL, damn, I feel old when I talk like this, but it's true.
How old are you?
There would be, I'm 58.
Okay, I didn't want to.
Well, no, there'd be.
Based on my questions, I know that shit already.
Yeah, but there'd be like 3 comics that did 1 hour.
Right, but so 58 now, but you're talking about.
I'm talking about this is 1997, 98, 99. This is back then. So this is 22.
30. You're 22 years old?
No, this is 22 years ago.
22 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in your third. Got it.
Yeah. So I've been doing
37
comedy
right
28
now.
years. This is my 28th year in comedy.
Okay. So what you're talking about right now is where I'm at in my life and career and age and everything.
Okay.
That's
right.
Just to give you perspective, like, okay, little me.
Right. No, so what I'm saying is back then there were maybe 2 or 3 people did a 1 hour. Now there's a whole series of 1 hour specials being recorded. Like, this is how much the festival has grown.
Yeah. What blew my mind was they had all hour specials from just Australians.
Yeah.
Then just like,
right.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
And it so the whole thing has grown. So I love being part of it. But when you talk about international, I've done Australia, right? I've been to Sydney. I've been to Melbourne. I've been to Hong Kong. I did Saudi Arabia 2 years ago. I finally made it to South Africa.
Oh, wow.
That's where I was when the pandemic hit. I had just finished doing the South Africa Comedy Festival, and it was phenomenal.
Really?
Like, it was an amazing, Cape Town, just one of the most amazing, beautiful cities I've been to in the world.
Despite their history.
Yeah, and I was joking about that. I said, a lot of white people here.
Right.
Didn't expect that. Thought you got rid of them.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Like, if you guys are still here, we were going to take our land back.
No, it was very cool and very, very interesting. And the history being there is very interesting. Now, Cape Town is like Africa is as a continent. There's so many different parts. I can't say, this is what Africa was like. I can say this is what Cape Town was like. Yeah. But that was a very interesting, very cool trip. So the travel that I've had in my life, I've considered that a side benefit of comedy. Like, I didn't get into comedy saying I'm going to see the world, but now as a result of comedy, I've seen the world. And again, these are the things that change your perspective tremendously. I think Tony Rock had like the best line I heard about travel. Tony said, once you've been to Italy, you can't shoot somebody over a pair of Jordans.
Right. Yeah. Because you've been given some perspective.
You see how big the world is. Too many people, especially here in the United States, Americans don't see how big the world is.
They don't know how big their own city is.
Right. But too many Americans think that the United States is the world. And then when you see the world, it puts everything in perspective, like how young we are.
That part. And the other thing that's actually crazy is what we've been shown our whole lives and told in schools. And then you get to the place where you've been looking in textbooks going, this don't look like that.
Yeah, that's how I describe the Middle East.
I did Qatar.
Yeah.
It was me, Lunel, and J-Mac for New Year's Eve for the Allied Forces there, where we were on the base where some of the planes you helped make were. But we had all the Allied forces, and it was just nuts to see. Like, I went to Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, all of that, and I'm thinking this is just going to be a dry-ass, dirty little desert. And it is the biggest mall I've ever seen in my life. There's people skiing in the mall. There's people riding horses in the mall. There is a swimming pool. You can surf in the mall.
Right.
Like, it was just, there was a river. I'm not even talking in the mall. It was a river. I went on a cruise with I'm an Omega Sci-Fi. I went on a cruise with the Qs in Abu Dhabi. I'm talking 70 black female teachers that are all over there teaching Qatari kids English, and then 50 Qs to go with it. Had a great time. I was like, this blows all perspective.
Right. The Middle East is not what you see on TV. Man. And it's a completely different culture, but it's a culture that works for them. And that's one of our problems internationally, is not having respect for other cultures that work, And I'll tell you, did you have any experience, or did they tell you anything about the Bedouin tribes?
Tell me, because I don't.
So the Bedouin tribes in the Middle East.
How are you saying that? Betta?
No, Bedowin. I believe that's how you spell it. Bedouins.
Okay.
These are the ones who wander the desert and have been wandering the desert forever. And they're allowed to, they don't have to worry about border crosses. These are the nomadic tribes, like raising goats. I was like, how the hell you raise goats in the desert? But
right.
these are the old nomadic tribes that walk around. And I was like, you think you're a badass? Like, these people live on the desert. Like, they live off the land in the Middle Eastern desert. How tough are you?
Right.
Like, however tough you think you are. You really?
Let's put that up against
roll with a Bedouin for a month.
How about that?
And come back and tell me how bad you are. They like you would pass just a lump of straw, and they were like, hey, what's that? Oh, that's a Bedouin house.
That's it.
But to see that, and then like you said, like Bahrain, for example, the gold in Bahrain, because you know how much they love gold. To see, we were there when they were having a gold show, and it made rappers look like really conservative.
Okay,
You
so
know
they're
what I
showing
mean?
off
Their goal, because that's their thing, right? And they love it, and they make it. They by hand they build all these beautiful, but a lot of the stuff is just ornate and way over the top, but it's part of their culture. And just seeing things like that where it opens your mind, because I'd never seen anything like that before. Like when you go to dinner in Italy or Spain, you're like, oh, that's how you're supposed to eat.
Exactly.
That's dinner.
I'll tell you what I thought was what was mind blowing to me was, I can't remember if it was I think it was Abu Dhabi, but the sheiks or sheikhs they say over there live like they're not like here. You don't know where politicians live. You don't know where. There they make a point of it.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, the sheik's house starts right here.
Right.
3 songs played, and it was like, and it ends right here.
Yeah, the palaces are crazy. When I did Iraq, we actually stayed in Saddam Hussein's vacation palace.
Oh my goodness.
Which was and the funny thing about that, though, a lot of it was built like a Hollywood set, because Saddam was insane. Like he was. There were parts that he built an incredible healthcare system for the country, right?
And the highways.
Worked. But the soccer team lost in an international match, and he shot them all. Everybody. He was insane. So he loved this ornate stuff, but they realized he just wants to see it, and he wants it right away. So they would build it like a movie set. It wasn't real. It just looked real.
Right.
And he was happy. But anyway, we stayed in this vacation palace, and he had built bedrock for the kids. He had them build like Fred Flintstone's house and Barney Rubble's house, and so that was for the kids to play in when they visited, when the dignitaries and everybody visited the palace. And then one time while they were there, he killed all their parents. Like that's how. So when I say he was insane, I'm talking about, bipolar on steroids, right?
Right.
This guy but to experience that is something that you don't get to do. And then like when I was talking about the food, again, I don't know if you've had this experience. When you have dinner in Italy, it takes 3 hours.
So this is what I want you to do.
Because there's 7 courses to dinner. Like we think pizza.
Hold on. Tell me about Italian dinner after the break.
Okay. All right.
And we're back from the break. Thank you for tuning in thus far to the Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club podcast. I'm here with esteemed guest, Alonzo Bodden. And we are now talking about worldly perspective and Italian dinners.
Yeah. So what I was saying, so you sit down and we think pizza is a meal.
It is.
No.
Yeah, meat lovers is fulfilling.
Pizza's a course in the meal. You'd have like pizza, then you'd have salad, then you'd have a main course, which would be some sort of meat, right? And then pasta, these are all different courses within dinner.
In one setting.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't eat a lot and you're there for hours. You're there for 3 hours talking and eating and hanging out and having a good time. It's like in the movie The Godfather, right? Like that. That's just how they do it. And I was in Spain, and in Spain they still take siesta, middle of the day.
Right in the middle of the day, everybody's off.
We're chilling. So I was at this coffee shop, and this Spanish guy was there, and he said, you Americans live to work. We work to live.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah, I think you guys got it figured out.
You just got a straight break in the middle of your day, every day, for nothing but just chilling. And
then they go to dinner from like 9 to midnight, and then they go out,
to kick it.
Yeah. And it's just there. So again, the thing about the international travel is you learn these different cultures. The other big gift of doing USOs, and you know this, you've done it too, is the troops. They appreciate us bringing it to them.
Yes.
And we get to show appreciation for the sacrifice they make. Like, people don't realize when you're in the military and you go overseas, life is not easy. It's just everyday life. It's hard. It's a pain, and it's they call it Groundhog Day because it's the same thing over and over, and this and that. Everybody's wearing the same clothes, right? You got to shop on base. I remember going to base and say, man, Sean John really popular here.
That's all we got. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a hell of an experience.
So I didn't do USO. I did MWR, which is for Marines, Marine Welfare and Rapport, I think is what it stands for. And so I did. That's how I did a lot of the stuff, and it was really interesting. USO is I'm sure you felt the same energy, but with Marines being first in, like we were performing for kids.
Yeah.
That were headed into, and that's the other thing people don't understand. Like you can sign up for the Marines and be like 18. So this is 3-4 years ago for me, and I'm talking to kids that they're younger than me, and they're going to war.
People don't realize how young the military is, and people don't realize the military like country, because it's a lot of people from small towns and the country and stuff that this is their only opportunity to get out. That's why they join.
Right.
So that is who the military is. Yeah, you don't realize it till you get there, and you're like, wow, you guys, like you really are kids,
Right.
Like, like you said, a lot of them not 21 yet.
It looked like a high school football team.
Yeah.
That could shoot their ass off was headed into war. And they were. Within 4 days, they're like, yeah, we go in. And one guy's like, dude, I'm nervous. Another guy was like, shut your bitch ass up.
Yeah.
Like all the energy was in the room.
Yeah.
And here we are 2 exits north of the largest military installation in the Western Hemisphere, Fort Lewis, Joint Base Lewis McChord. And so we get soldiers from all over the place in 40,000 batches, 40,000 per batch. So you can see the guys that are those guys. It's when you see like the white guy with the buzz cut wearing his standard issued boots in the club. It's like, fam, you don't have no other shoes? He's like, nah, I'm here till the war. Like, you see those guys. But the Marines everybody there was that.
Yeah.
In the Army, you might get a couple guys that are extra motivated.
Mm-hmm.
It was the standard in the room for these kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were making like D's nuts jokes. I'm like, you guys are going to war. D's nuts. Just kids.
Yeah, they're out. They're out. They left home, and it's mind blowing for them.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. The USO back when I was doing it was bigger. Like the MWRs were more the individual bases, and the USO would have these big tours sponsored by big corporations and stuff. I loved it. It was great. It was a hell of an experience.
So I'll say this: I think it's very interesting that you've managed to find the joy in the you found the joy in the creases of the work.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us that are working as comics that are traveling and all that, we just feel like the moment we head to the airport, it's all work. But I'm kind of the same, where I'll eat good and I'll treat myself well while I'm on the road. So I'm like, this is actually fun for me to do.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, part of it was they do it for you, right? They take you places. And when you go to somebody's place, they want to show you their best. So they take you out and then this and that. But to me, the work, just what you said, when people are like, how's work? Work is getting up in the morning, going to the airport, another city, another grind, this and that. But once you hit the stage, that's the fun part. And then these other things that happen, the military is just a unique organization because they can allow you to play with military toys. I always wanted to blow up a ship. They wouldn't let me. I was like, come on, man, you guys have accidents all the time. Let's
just make an accident.
Let's blow up a fishing boat.
In Qatar, we were trying to, so in Qatar, we were trying to shoot, Lunel specifically wanted to shoot a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
Right?
Just say, it was
couldn't do that.
No.
So they did let us drive the bomb demolition robot around. That was fun for literally 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. It was like, this is a drone. So then it got to the point where they just let her drive a Caterpillar bulldozer, just move a bunch of dirt and shit around. And then we signed bombs.
Yeah. Well, what we got to do that was fun, when the Hummer first came out, when it was like the first military issue vehicle,
right.
The guy somehow knew I was a car guy. He said, hey, you want to drive one? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to drive one. And he was like, take it anyway. You can't break it. And I was like, what? He said, can't break it. Drive over anything you want. If you want, you could drive it through the river. And I wanted to. The other comics didn't want. I was like,
man, y'all hating.
Come on.
Get out. I'm going to go and I'll come back and get y'all. I'll be wet, but I'll be back.
That was crazy because before that they had Jeeps. And suddenly they had this Hummer, and it was like, go anywhere you want. I was bashing through. They were like, drive right through it. They were like, no, you don't go around anything. You drive over it.
They do not care. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, speaking of being a car guy, right? I didn't know how much of a car guy you were until the show. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was two wheels for you.
Two wheels first. Yeah, it's bikes first. Bikes are my first love. Cars are close second.
You own 15 bikes?
No. I don't know how many bikes I've owned. Right now I have 4. I don't have room or money to collect them.
But you got a super rare BMW.
But yeah, I like flipping through, and I've had some classics and stuff. It's I do Leno's Garage with Jay, and he has me on for all the motorcycle stuff, which is really fun.
You do Leno's Garage with Jay.
Yeah.
I do Leno's Garage with Jay Leno. The homie Jay, got it.
You get to know him. Okay. That's how he is, though. You get to know him. But
okay. You got a nickname for him?
But I always tell people the difference between me and Jay is they lend it to me, they give it to Jay.
Touche.
That's the difference.
They just hand him the whole.
Here, Alonzo, you can ride this for a week. Mm-hmm. No, Jay, go ahead, keep it.
So speaking of Jay Leno, do you also frequent Comedy and Magic down there with Richard?
Yeah. I love the Comedy Magic Club.
I've only been once because I was like, this is hella far.
Yeah, it is. It's out of the way, but it is. It's one of those places that's been around forever.
Yeah, and they have. I saw the crowds. I was like, if they're doing this consistently, they're not messing around.
Yeah, but I mean, they've been there for 30 years. There are some clubs around the country. There are just certain clubs that they've been there so long. Everybody's worked there, and everybody still comes down because of the history of the club.
Right.
So that's one of those clubs.
And then they treat you so well.
Yeah.
Because just in sitting there for a few minutes, I watched the comics in the green room order roughly $500 worth of entrees, and they were not tripping.
Michael feed everybody who's there, and the comics
I met a Richard. Richard was a really cool.
Richard's a manager. Mike Lacey's the owner. Richard's a manager. And
hi, Mike.
The comics are the generosity goes both ways. You know what I mean? Like there was a point where somebody embezzled a bunch of money from him, and a big name it was like I don't know, like Leno and Gary Shandling and Ray Romano and all of these superstar comics that it came up there just kept going in doing free shows
until they were good.
Till he got his money back, and they were like, "Okay, you good." That's a relationship, right? That's a history that a comedy club has. So as a comic, when you start working there and you get in, and now it's about getting that respect, right? The money is one thing, respect's another. So when you become a part of something like that, when you get to hang out and become one of the comics, that is I love that. I love that feeling.
What do you think carries more value and weight right now? Being a regular at the store or being a regular at Comedy and Magic? I
can't say because I've never been a regular at the store.
So being a regular at Comedy and Magic is obviously the answer.
No, I have a weird relationship with the store, right? Because way back when, 20-something years ago.
Mitzi's alive.
And I went to the store. And in the 90s, the store wasn't the spot. It was down. It was down and out. It was the Comedy Store, but it was definitely not the A room of, Sunset Strip or whatever, right?
What was?
So I'd say the Laugh Factory was.
Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie was. And the Improv had its own thing because the Improv's part of the chain, and they had A&E at the Improv. And the Laugh Factory had a show. I don't remember the name of it, but they had a TV thing. But anyway, I was in at the Laugh Factory. I was doing regular spots at the Laugh Factory. I went to the Comedy Store, and Mitzi was like, come back in 6 months. And I was like, why? Like, I don't need this. You know what I mean? That was my attitude. I was a bit cocky, but I was like, I don't need this. So I didn't.
But were you?
So, well, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think so. So years later, and I never thought about it, then I went back, and this is what happened with the store in the early 2000s. Guys made the store the spot again. I think it was guys like Bill Burr and Rogan and these guys. They were doing the store all the time, and they were building.
They put it on the map.
It just built a whole new audience. Guy Torrey, Guy had Fat Tuesdays, and it made it a thing again. So I went back, and they were like, Alonzo, we love you. We got more comics than spots. And I just laughed and said, okay, so I guess I'll never be passed by the
Y'all be blessed.
Comedy Store.
I've heard that story from multiple comics.
Yeah.
And then their story goes to a point where they say, then I get a call And it's for writing my name on the wall ceremony.
It's so funny you mention that. I got called to do the club in La Jolla, the San Diego club. Mm-hmm. And I get there, and my name is on the outside of the club.
This is your first time working it?
And I was like, I never worked here. And they were like, yeah, the manager loves you, man. So those kind of things, at this point, I got nothing new to show them. I am who I am. So if it's good enough for your club or your spot, great. And if it's not, then that's okay too. Because I got, what I mean? There's no new trick. Like talking about Montreal. Like I'm under no pressure at Montreal because I'm not going to be discovered.
Hilarious.
You're going to be discovered.
I'm like, man, it got to be right.
You're going to be discovered.
Let's just have a drink and talk.
I'm not going to be discovered.
Yeah.
But I get to see friends that I only see there, that I see once a year. That's why we call it summer camp, because it's the one time a year we all get together and hang out, and it's all good. It's great, but it's. I don't know, man. I'm solid, I guess. I love my career, I tell people all the time, it'd be nice to have a few $1 million in the bank. I ain't gonna lie. That's a nice cushion. But I've done okay. I've done okay. The rent's paid. I got some toys, and I've had this incredible life experience doing this. I know everybody,
enough to say, Jay.
It's.
Plus, you've done the show.
He liked me
10 times.
He liked me. That was the way it was. If he liked you, they would call you just regularly to do the show. And I was fortunate that he liked me, and he would just call me to come down. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's come do a set.
I got time. I got time for you, Jay.
Right. Yeah, I'll do TV real quick. So I'll use a different talking point as a segue, right? Just that's how I'm doing this. You mentioned that Montreal is what you guys have given the moniker summer camp. I've also heard the term summer camp recently, but it was in regard to some event that Dave Chappelle is putting together in Ohio.
Yeah.
Before we went live, we were talking about the 9 hours battle back and forth between Dave and Dane Cook.
Right.
And I wanted to know your perspective of that.
Well, let me start by saying I know both of them. I love both of them. And I get Dane Cook. See, a lot of people didn't like that. Dane's always had a lot of haters throughout his entire career. I've known Dane. Let's see, when did I meet Dane? I met Dane in 99, and he's always been the same guy with me.
When you say you get Dane Cook, does that mean you don't get Dave?
No.
You're just saying when everybody else doesn't get him, I do.
No, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of haters on, if there's any Dave Chappelle haters, you're wrong.
Right. Easily.
You're wrong. But with Dane, there's always been a lot of haters, but I've never been in that, that group. Like, I get it. And I understand when people talked about Dane's fame it wasn't everybody. Dane wasn't for everybody. Dane had a following that was insane, but it was all young people. It was like people under 30. Like,
it was MySpace.
There was one, right. So there was one point where I said, yeah, if you're under 30, Dane is the second coming of comedy. If you're over 30, you're like, who's Dane Cook?
Right.
And that's just the way it was, but and a lot of comics hated on it. And no, I wasn't that. So when they were doing that, I don't know what inspired it. I think Dane was the first one to just keep going for hours and hours, right? And then Dave did it.
Dave must have just looked up the record and been like, yeah, I got this.
The difference is, all due respect to Dane Cook, I'll pay to listen to Dave think out loud. Dave has gone to the next level in comedy. Dave's in a world by himself now. There's no one you can compare now to, and this is my opinion, there's no one you can compare to what Dave Chappelle's doing, right? He's just developed his own, it's his
transcended.
World. He's transcended. That's a great
to
word.
A level where we usually assess and apply to people who've gone on already.
Exactly. Like when you talk about, the Mount Rushmore, this or that, like to me, doing social observations, right? I always said Carlin was the greatest ever in social observation.
He's on the wall.
Well, not anymore. Now Dave is.
Right.
Dave has surpassed Carlin. And you normally, when you talk about a Mount Rushmore, you don't watch somebody do it. But we've been watching.
It's everyone who's dead already.
We've watched Dave become the GOAT.
Yep.
Who can, you can't even, and he's so, his confidence and he's so, what he does, like, he doesn't even have to be funny. because he can tell you what he's talking about and then make it funny. When he told the story of Emmett Till in the midst of a comedy, like, do you understand?
Right.
You told one of the most painful, horrific civil rights violations. I mean, the murder, the beating death of a 13-year-old kid, and then brought it around and still made that crowd laugh again before they went home. Are you kidding? Nobody would bring up Emmett Till in a comedy special. Like, you just don't say something that...
You don't go that dark.
That heavy, that
I don't want
dark,
the hole to dig
sad,
out of. Yeah.
Right. And yet he did it, and then you walked away, and it was like, yeah, we're done. We're done. Comedy's done. Dave's mastered it.
That's how it's done.
And he's still a super generous guy with his time. Yeah, he's cool with people. Yeah, that Dave blows people's minds by just talking to him, because he'll just talk to you, and it's there's no ego, and he's not coming from a place of, let me talk to you youngsters, or let me tell you what he's like, just talking to you, just like we're talking now.
People don't know that, though. You
don't until you meet him.
And so I'll tell you, the way he talked on his last special about the times that he met OJ, I'll say the third time I met Dave Chappelle. Maybe the first time Dave Chappelle knew I was meeting him. Okay? Second time I met JFL, open bar, JFL, and Dave comes in, it's him, Donnell, a few other people, and when he comes in, the whole room is like, Chappelle. And they just come lean on the bar. He's like, y'all want anything? Yeah. I'm buying. And everybody's like, it's just free. He's like, ah. And everybody gets hammered at this open bar. Yeah. And that's the second time, because we chopped it up real quick. So the third time is improv. Mo Better Monday, D-Ray's hosting. I'm on this show, and I don't do that show that often. I like Spike. I like Spike, because Spike is like, real tough to everybody. But me and Spike chop it up, and he gives great. He's got a big heart. He's got to get through that tough ass porcupine outside he's got. I could not get a JFL showcase at this time, and this night in the satellite room, or the other room, they were doing them. So I figure, hey, Spike, put me on your show. I'll come down and finagle Jeff Singer through that little side door to watch my set, right? That's my plan. That's why I'm on the show. And so I'm on the lineup, and all that's going fine. Jeff is actually like, I'm not supposed to leave the showroom, and I have to see all of my own stuff going on. Like, that's not how this works. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was like, but I'm going up in 10, right? So I'm still like, I have a shot, because there's a twinkle in his eye. I go back into the showroom. D-Ray's like, oh, man, you just missed it. I said, what? Missed what? Oh, Dave Chappelle's here. Okay. He wants to go up next. I said, nigga, he can't go next. He's like, what you mean? I said, I got the guy next door talking about he going to peek in. And he going to watch my set, and I might get JFL off of it. D-Ray been done JFL, so he's like, Dave Chappelle's next. I don't care about that little punk-ass opportunity, right? I'm like, man, I'll be right back. He's like, where are you going? So I'm going to get unbumped. And I walk across the back of the Improv to the corner booth, and Dave's there with his, he's chilling, because, he's going up next. I was like, listen, Brother Chappelle, man, listen. I'm on this show right here, right? And I just got a little, I had like a 15-minute slot or whatever, but I'm next. And you going to do whatever you do to places. But if I could just do a portion of the set I was booked to do, so the guy from JFL could see me and give me just a smidgen of a chance, I would be grateful for quite some time. And he was like, what's your name? I'm like, Nate Jackson. He's like, only because you came to me so humble. Look at the humility of it, nigga, right? Do your thing. So I go back to D-Ray. I'm like, nigga, I got unbumped by Dave Chappelle. Yeah. D-Ray's like, are you lying to me? Because as a host, he's going to go up and say whatever. He wants to make sure I didn't just come back and finagle the situation. Are you lying to me? And I'm talking about piercing green eyes, or whatever the fuck color his eyes are. He's staring at D-Ray, I'm unbumped. I don't get my full set, but I'm unbumped. He's like, I'm going to put you up. But if you're lying, I can't save you. I'm like, cool. So I go up. I do like 7. And I'm like, honestly, it was a rocking ass 7. Because I didn't care no more. I'm like, fuck it, he's here, they're here, fuck it. And I'm all right. I was gonna do much more jokes tonight, but my time is up a little earlier than we expected. But you guys are in store for a phenomenal moment in time. I've been Nate Jackson, and I walk off. D-Ray comes up. The next motherfucker don't need no introduction. He walks off. Cigarette smoke billows through the club. They see the bald head, and the crowd is like, "Get the fuck out of here!" You know what I mean? Like, and that was the girls yelling. Like the guys, I don't even want to. So, and I was like, "Wow!" And he does maybe 45 minutes. It was, and the whole reason Dave was there is because he was upset because Faison said Dave only does white rooms. So he's like, "I'm here for you niggas to show Faison, fuck him." So, congratulations. And he does 45 minutes. He's like, "Well, where's Faison? The fuck," right? Like that was his whole thing. Mm-hmm. So that was my interaction with Dave, and then the whole, again, the JFL thing is a through line. But yeah, I think he's definitely among us at the same time. This is what I think. I think that because he knows his audience is the whole of the world, with the focus on America, that he can write his material for their ear. Whereas where I'm at in my career, I have to write my material to be objective for whoever the fuck is in the room that night.
He writes his material for Dave Chappelle.
I'll give you that too. No, because Dave Chappelle wouldn't need to hear about him until.
No, but what I'm saying though is he writes it. It's what he wants to say.
Oh no,
it's
for
not.
sure.
It has nothing to do with what they want to hear. It's what he wants to say. That's what I mean when I say he writes it for Dave Chappelle. Like there's no one. Like you were doing the showcase for JFL, right? And I do stuff like that. I may have a corporate gig where like for Dave, he doesn't do he just does it for Dave. He doesn't have to do it for anybody. You know, like he did, what was the last special, right? Where the critics gave it a 0.
Is that where you talked about George Floyd?
Right. And Rotten.
Was that a special?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the special, his last full Netflix special.
The Requiem Bird.
The critics gave it a 0. Rotten Tomatoes, the audiences gave it 100,
right? And
he won an Emmy for it.
Yeah.
And when his Emmy speech was basically like, "See, fuck y'all,
literally,
I got it. You know, I just won that. You know, that was his Emmy speech was like, fuck y'all, you don't know shit. You know, and that's what I mean by he does it for Dave Chappelle. You know, I've known Dave.
Over a critic. There is no critic that Dave's about to listen to.
The first time I met Dave, I wasn't even doing comedy yet. I was in a comedy class. I did one of those comedy writing classes.
What class had Dave Chappelle in it?
No, so it was at a theater in Santa Monica, and they used to shoot Comedy Central half hours there. So
what's the theater called?
I can't remember the name.
I think they do the showcases there.
No, this theater's been gone. It's been gone a long time. What was it called? The A-List? They used to do a show there called the A-List, right? Okay. So Dave was there to tape the A-List, and I was there, you know, during the day they were doing the comedy. So I just met him, you know, like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, blah, blah, blah. And we talked for a minute. And it seemed like he remembered me. Like I saw him a few years later, and like, how the hell Dave Chappelle remember me? You know, but we've always been cool. But the last time, and this was really funny, so Dave was doing a tour with Jon Stewart, and I was in Boston, and they were coming to Boston. So, you know, and I say it all the time, like I know Dave, but because I know Dave, I'm not going to call Dave and ask for tickets because I might hear back from him and I might not. You know, his phone's blowing up all the time, this, that, whatever, right? So I bought tickets for the show, and I'm there with Colette Greenstein, who used to run a club in Boston, and the day before the show, Will Sylvans, I don't know if you know Will.
Yeah. Why you?
Yeah. So Will is hosting, which I didn't know. So I called Will. I'm like, "Yo, man, I'm in town." He's like, "Oh, cool. Come backstage, this and that, or whatever." Yeah, right. So anyway, so I'm hanging out. So I come in and I sit down in the audience because I want to watch a show from the audience. I met Stewart and Che was there, and I know Che. So it was all good. Yeah. Okay. So this guy's talking, right? Like a row or two. And I was like, "Yo, man."
Like heckle, like just having a conversation.
Yeah, I was like, "Yo, man,
shut your ass up.
Shut up. We're here to hit, you know." And I said, "Man, just shut up, right?" So they wrap it up, right? And Dave's like, "Any nerds out there?" And they're like, "Well," he said, "like any NPR nerds out there, right?" And he said, because my friend from NPR Wait, Alonzo Bodden's here. Alonzo, come on up, right? So I stand up, and the dude was like, he lost it. He was like, oh, shit.
That's who told me to shut up.
And I just went on stage, and I got we just sat there and kicked it for a while. It was really funny. The four of us just talking shit about, like, Will would set it up. It was almost like a panel. And then we would just riff
Crash
on it.
all the way down.
It was fun. But that's who he is. But my greatest Dave Chappelle, like, thing, he used to throw these parties, man. And he was in Just for Laughs. Mm-hmm. And he threw this party, and it was insane. He had this band. He had a New Orleans jam band, right? And it was his own thing, private club, but everybody was invited.
Yeah.
Just, you couldn't bring any cameras, no phones, none of that shit. And I walk in, and on stage is Dave Chappelle, Mos Def, Wanda Sykes, and the band singing "Why Can't We Be Friends?" and it was like, this is not real. Like this, it was so much fun. Yeah, he is who he is. He is who he is.
So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to break one more time, and then we're just gonna tell them where to find us. And then, you do your dates, or someone else does them? Your people.
You mean? Yeah, I have a publicist who will tell you.
Okay, because I was gonna have a little parlor trick where we book you live on the show. I've had a fantastic time on this episode of the Super Funny Comedy Club podcast. Myself and Alonzo Bodden have chopped it up in a way where it's been refreshing.
I'll take that.
Refreshing.
I like refreshing.
It's really, we hadn't met before this.
No.
You didn't know we met before this.
Okay.
We've been passing, shook a hand.
Yeah. That happens in comedy
all the time.
Right? Just,
when you outside the club, you're like, oh, that's Alonzo. Alonzo, what's up? Hey, what's up, man? Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Then you get on a bike, and you're gone. I'm like, oh, he rides bikes?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. So,
right.
Interestingly enough, Corey Holcomb is headlining this weekend, and Corey was like, yeah, man, I was on my bike the other day and seen Alonzo on his. He didn't know it was me because I had my shit on. And then he was like, oh, Corey. He's like, man, Alonzo's 6'4", man. You can't just be riding up on anybody without knowing what's what. So
I love Corey, man. I love Corey Holcomb.
That's my OG.
Yeah.
So I just want to do the, classic, just where can they find you? What's next?
AlonzoBodden.com is obvious. So what's next is an interesting question, okay? Because I'm going to hype this because I hope it happens.
All right, I'm going to be your hype man, so say it slow.
KBLA. 1580. Unapologetically progressive talk radio.
We don't give a fuck, and we're thinking about it.
It's a new station, a new AM talk station in LA. We are supposed to launch soon. You can find it. It's already on YouTube. It's already online, KBLA.com.
It's already where?
Online, KBLA.com.
And YouTube.
So I'm hoping that happens, and I will be one of the hosts on that show. So, yeah, we're hoping that happens. And other than that, man, just, the website tells you where I'm headed. I'm always headed somewhere. So the world's opening back up. I've been vaccinated. I don't know if you've been vaccinated.
Two Modernas in that arm.
Yeah, once you get that second shot, you just feel like I'm invincible now.
Start going raw in the world.
Exactly. So I'll be out there, and we'll see. This is great, man. Your club is fantastic.
Thank you.
This studio, everything you're doing, man.
I'm trying,
this
man.
Is big, man.
All I did was just try to bring some dreams to fruition.
Big. You got a rich uncle. Somebody.
No, I did this the hard ass way. I got a $500,000 construction loan by the grace of God, and then I raised $600,000 with angel investors, and then I went through the blood, sweat, and tears and growing pains of working with people who do good work but don't manage the work they do well. So here we are, fought through Corona and all that, and hoping that we can keep on going forward from there. As far as the club, make sure you go to superfunnycomedyclub.com. That's where all of our dates are updated. Please look for the Alonzo Bodden dates. I'm going to try to close that shit after this shit is over with. Okay? Because there's no proximity clause on where you're at right now, way up there. And I want them to be successful too. I love both of those owners. So I mean no disrespect when I say what I'm saying, but you guys know we want Alonzo too. And then you can follow us on the Instagram at Super Funny Comedy Club. And then, oh man, we just got season 2 greenlit for I'm on Young Rock. I don't know.
Congratulations,
so
man.
Playing Junkyard Dog, and so season 2 is greenlit, and now they go to write it.
Yeah.
So I'm fingers crossed that they keep my character in the shit and even give me some more stuff.
Hell yeah, man.
You know, and,
network TV.
It's exciting. So
Definitely.
I'm hoping that happens. So
now, do you meet The Rock doing the show? Is he involved? Have you met him?
okay, so no,
Okay.
not in person, but almost up to I'm about to say 10 times via Zoom, where we're all doing all the table reads and everybody's chopping it up, and he wanted to get to know everybody chemistry wise because he wasn't allowed to go to Australia where we filmed it. We were in Brisbane.
Oh, okay.
And so the week they were taking everyone's paperwork and everyone's doing all the testing and stuff, he got COVID. And so he was on Instagram saying, myself and my family, and they were like, skirt. So he had to watch.
So he went to Brisbane.
Atlanta.
They did it in Brisbane.
Yeah. So they made all of Brisbane look like here because they drive on the other side of the car, on the other side of the street.
Right.
And they got all Hawaii plates from the 80s. And then they changed all the signs and everything. You know,
Yeah,
how
well,
they do.
that's Hollywood. They know how to do that.
It wasn't a set though. I'm talking about we went into neighborhoods and just shut shit down.
Just change the neighborhood.
Right,
Yeah.
and they're just like, crikey, what in the fuck is going on over there? You know what I mean? It is going down as an American truck drives by on the right side of the road.
No, I just asked because I can't even imagine what he would be like as a person.
Okay, so
I can only think of him as a character, so I have no idea what the person would be like.
There was a moment that I'll share where it may give you context to his personality. It may not. But I think the closest we are to the actual Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is watching his interactions with Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Where he's just fun, funny, cussing. But so Nanachka Khan, the writer and director of Fresh Off the Boat, came in and spearheaded the whole thing for season 1 of this, and wrote it and everything. And so then handed it off to Jeffrey Wright, not the Jeffrey Wright, the first Buffington Jim one, but the white one that was a childhood star.
Yeah.
So she does the pilot, and then she has to go back to L.A. for a week, then Atlanta. Then that's where The Rock was because he's working on Red Notice and Black Adam. So we get to have a rap party for her. NBC's Black Card. Everyone is fucked up. Okay, and we know we're about to be like that because she tells us, all right, and then that's a wrap on me. And everybody claps. And she's like, the party's tonight. Everybody show up at the Dirty Onion or whatever it was at 6, and we'll just go until we go. Have what we want. And I'm going to go back to the States and start on season 2. We're like, all right, bet. So we have one more table read the next day before she hands us off, where he's directing this, but she's, I'm turning over to Jimmy, and Dwayne's there. He's in a box, and that's exciting because he's on once a week or something. So everybody's all, and I was reading for him all of the scripts for the days he's not.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I said this, but I'm like, are you going to be drinking tonight, Notch? And she's like, no, because my flight's so early tomorrow. And I was like, you can get on that plane drunk. I'm going to get your little ass fucked up. I say this, right? This is Dwayne. He's down in the camera. I say that. He looks up and he's trying to track who says it. And then he's like, and then he goes back to his notes. That's his spirit.
Yeah.
That fun. We're also getting the work done. Work hard, play hard. That's what I feel was, you know what I mean? And so until I sit down and tell him have some coffee or whatever the hell he's willing to drink or eat with me, then I don't know. But from that interaction and then watching, he was very emotional. Like he would cry during readings because it was his family.
Yeah.
And all the actors look so much like people that have, left his life, unfortunately, that I'd imagine that's a lot to take in. To look at somebody that looks just like your father who passed and sounds just like him, tell the kid version of you that looks just like you then, I love you, and you never really remember hearing that from him your damn self. Yeah, The Rock was choked up at several moments, but great dude. Yeah. So I'm just glad that there's a season 2, just for the success for him, to show his family, for everybody and all the people that I met and that we worked with. Because when you go to another country to film, it's not like LA. LA, they're like, cut. Everybody's like, we all go our way. There was like, where y'all eating at? Because we're in another country. Yeah. And so I hope, that we come back. Now I'm in the picture that they did for the press day where they gave like 1,000 pictures to all the places. 90% of them used the picture of me. And I'm like, I'm not high on the call sheet. So around the world is me going with, you know what I'm saying? So I hope that notoriety just through that is enough to get me in season 2 for a few episodes. That's all I can ask for.
I'm going to tell you this. You've already beat me because I've never had a season 2.
See?
But every show I've done, I've never had a season 2. So
you made it. Nobody said record yet.
You made it.
I'll take it.
You made it. Season 2.
Speak that into existence for me.
You can just quit now. You won.
I got to do a frame of footage first.
You quit.
It's over. I'm going to Africa.
There you go. Stop paying taxes and go to Africa.
Cape Town.